Thank you. I recognize Mr. Knott from the state of North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the witnesses here, thank you for your time. Thank you for your testimony. Ms. King, it's always good to see you again. Mr. Asher, I want to start with you. You talked about the decline in the homicide rates over the last time period. What time period specifically are you referring to?
In general, murder rose 30% nationally in 2020, had stayed generally at that level between 2020 and 2022, fell about 10% in 2023. Last year, the FBI had it at 14, 15%, and then so far, the best estimate is roughly a 20% decline this year.
And what, in terms of the homicides that you're referring to, what are the overall numbers per year on average?
2014 is previously the lowest murder rate ever recorded in the U.S., was about 14,500. In 2020, it hit about 22,000.
And are you referring to convictions, charges?
No, this is just from police reporting. This has nothing to do with the prosecution angle.
The only reason why I'm asking is you're aware that it is a homicide to sell a lethal dose of drugs, correct?
So in this case, it's the difference between a homicide and a murder. From the prosecution side, that can be a homicide, but from the way that the FBI is counting it, it would be a non-murder homicide.
A non-murder homicide. Okay. Well,
yes.
A homicide a criminal activity results in the death of the victim, correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true that since 2000 there have been roughly 1.5 million victims who have lost their lives because of overdoses?
I don't have that number, but I can.
Okay. So I
don't doubt that.
That's not as rosy as, crime is going away, crime is decreasing, correct? That's 1.5 million Americans over the last 20 years who are not captured in this batch of stats. It's astounding. It's astounding. You're also aware that there was a leader in the Capitol Police Department, Mr. Michael Pulliam, who was suspended for manipulating crime data to make it appear that his community was safer than it actually was. Are you aware of that?
You're talking about Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
I'm familiar with the allegation. I believe that it's under investigation.
Yes. So it is potentially feasible that the conclusions that you're deriving, taken from police departments, are not the full picture.
I believe that it is the full picture.
I know you do, but it's possible. I'm just asking if it's possible.
So crime data is very flawed.
You just disregarded 1.5 million dead Americans.
Well, I'm not disregarding
to try to paint the
anybody,
picture that we are in a safer community
even overdoses are falling this year. I think that I can appreciate it.
That's because they've been so elevated.
Well,
and they're falling because we have protected the American citizens by securing the border.
One can appreciate a trend that we are seeing currently, a downward trend in both overdoses. We're seeing a downward trend in murder. We're seeing a downward trend in violent crime, while also not saying that these trends are acceptable, that the problem is solved.
When you sit here and look at and talk to the people on the ground in Charlotte, sir, I would submit that your conclusions are not tethered to reality. Now, Officer Campbell, I want to talk to you just briefly about various initiatives. There's been a lot of discussion about partisanship and how the Democratic Party is not soft on crime. And there are some Democrats who are not soft on crime. But in terms of defunding the police, a clarion call for the Democratic Party, does that make us more or less safe?
I would say that makes us less safe.
What about working feverishly against long-term incarceration? Is that more or less safe?
Less safe.
Mr. Woody, what about cashless bail? Again, that's a uniquely partisan initiative, funded by Democrats nationally, locally, and the state level. Does that make us more or less safe?
Cashless bail makes us less safe.
Mr. Campbell, in regards to the complete disregard of our borders, our immigration laws, does that make us more or less safe?
Less safe.
What about decriminalizing all drugs? That's a partisan initiative in some parts of the country. More or less safe?
Less safe.
What about funding NGOs? Tens of billions. We talk about funding. We talk about mental health. We talk about victims funding. Tens of billions of dollars over the last 4 years that was handed directly to people who were here illegally. Does that make us more or less safe?
Be less safe.
So it seems to me that we have an ideology problem, not a funding problem. And would you say it's a coincidence that the top 10 most dangerous cities in the country are led locally by Democrats? Is that a coincidence?
No.
Now, Mr. Federico, I want to ask you, there's been a lot of discussion about you cannot incarcerate your way to public safety. Do you agree with that?
Well, how can we find out? We don't do it.
Right.
I mean, there's percentages out there that after 3 years, after 3 years of release, 68% of them are rearrested.
Right.
So we've got to figure it out first. Put them there first, then let's do the math.
Right. If someone has 39 arrests, 25 felonies, you think they've earned the right to be in a jail cell?
He is probably one of the best resumes of a criminal.
You think he deserves mental health, or does he deserve to be in jail?
I think he deserves to be dead.
Yeah. Ms. Alderman, in regards to your tragedy, again, thank you for being here. Did the criminal who affected you so mightily, does he deserve mental health, or does he deserve to be in jail?
The
Time
criminal,
has expired, but I'll let you finish that question.
the criminals who killed Mary are not mentally ill, so it's not a valid concern of mine.
Thank you.